Hello, everybody, and welcome to our show. I'm Cyrus, and I'm looking forward to drinking some wine with you this evening.
And I'm Brittany, and I just woke up like this.
That's right, she did. It's 4:30 a.m.
Good morning.
Just kidding. So today we will be reviewing two wines from Australia.
Yes. Yum.
Yeah, and as usual, I brought a white and you brought a red.
And I brought a red. Yes, I did.
All right, intro. So, Brittany, what did you bring for us this week?
Yes. So it is called Mr. Black's Little Book. It's got a little book on it.
Cool
But
name.
It's a Shiraz. It's a 2017 Shiraz from the Barossa Valley in Australia. And it's 15% alcohol. Woo, it's up there.
Yeah, Barossa Valley is very famous for its amazing red wines, so I'm excited to try this.
Yeah, it's really cool. So there's a nice little black book on it. It says Small Gully, the mixtures, formulae, and little secrets.
That must be what's in the book.
Little secrets. It's a very black bottle. You can't see anything through it.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun.
I think it looks nice. Do you want to pour us some glasses? Oh, you've done it now. The cats are off to that.
So what do you notice about the color?
Oh, it's deep red. It's not a purple, which I usually associate a little bit more with Shiraz, but this looks red.
It's like a muddy red.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it looks cool, and it goes all the way to the edge too. It's not like it fades to like a different colored rim.
It's like rusty.
Yeah, it's red to the rim. This looks a lot like some Italian wines that we've tried with that rusty tint.
It does. And I really like my deep reds, so I'm really excited about this one.
Let's smell it.
Okie doke.
Oh, that smells wonderful.
You can definitely smell the alcohol, so it's very high in alcohol content.
Burns the nose hairs.
It does. I feel like it's going to be sour, like sour cherry almost.
I was going to say sour cherry. That's awesome. We were on the same wavelength there.
But
it is some of the rusty. There's no rusty notes, I would say, but it's maybe a little meaty.
I would say meaty, maybe gasoline-y.
Yeah, less than, it's not prominent, but there's definitely like some kind of rocky something there.
Yeah, it's very gravelly. I think that's it. I think it's just straight gravel.
Yeah. That's a really nice smelling wine. I'm excited to try this.
Yeah.
Let's just get in here.
Okay. That's interesting.
It starts really sweet, but then it fades to like a bitter finish.
I was thinking it was very sweet. It's almost like a dessert wine.
Predominant fruit is the cherry, but it's not sour per se.
No.
It's got some tartness.
It does. But it's more meaty. It does have its meatiness in it. And it's a little more watery than I thought it would be.
Kind of candy apple notes, too, I would say. It almost reminds me of some of the notes we got in the Chardonnay from last week.
Okay. It's a pretty simple wine from what I'm getting at it. It's not super complex in any way, but it does have a very bold flavor to it.
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely a warm climate wine with all that alcohol and all that sweetness. The fruit, like we said, is basically just cherry. I don't think there's...
Basically cherry.
Yeah. Maybe a little raspberry or something like that for the tartness.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think I like it better than the red from last week.
I think I would agree.
Yep. So, Brittany, what should our listeners know about Australian wine?
Yes. So many of the vineyards are grown near the coast of Australia. That's where you're going to get a lot of warm and dry climate. So it's really nice. Australia has this sort of new world twist on it. So it's very bold. South of Australia, you'll get a more cooler desert-like climate. So Australia is very into innovation. Totally. So we see here a couple of bottles and they're both screw tops, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's very innovative because they're like, corks aren't all that. you know?
Right.
Even their very, very good wines are with screw tops, which is very strange to me, but I'll get used to it. And here we're trying a Shiraz, but it's also called Syrah. Australia has coined the term Shiraz themselves. But Shiraz and Syrah are the same things. If you see previous episodes of ours, we talk about that a little bit more.
Yep.
But Shiraz is definitely one of the most famous red wines that they have.
Yeah, for sure. And especially from this region that we're getting in from the Barossa Valley. So really cool to kind of get it right from the source.
Yeah, I agree.
As far as the climate goes in Australia, it makes sense that they're all on the coast because everywhere else is desert, right?
Right.
You get that little thin band where it's that perfect Mediterranean climate. Yep.
So overall impressions of this wine, Cyrus?
Yeah, so sweeter than I expected, kind of like stickier than I expected, but the alcohol that you smell on the nose doesn't come through the taste as much. It doesn't like burn or something like that. It's pretty smooth drinking. It's very cherry and lovely.
Yeah, I agree. I love the dryness of this wine, but it also gives you that sweetness. So it's something nice to have after dinner, during dinner. It's a good dinner time wine. I don't think I would, drink this when I wake up, but
yeah, not like it's 4:30 right now.
Not like it's 4:30.
Yeah. Cool. Well, after a short break, we will be back with our second wine.
Are near the coast of Australia. So that's a very...
Keeping it fresh.
Under pressure. So I messed up. I banged my...
Who'd you bang? Incredible.
Good morning. All right, I'm coming in with our social medias. So we have YouTube now, so check us out on that. And then we also have Spotify, and you can listen to us on any other place that you get your podcast at. Also check our Facebook and Twitter. We frequently update those with some pictures and information too about our episodes. So please like, subscribe, click that button, use your mousey
You know what to do. Do the thing.
You do, yeah. Welcome back, everybody. So Cyrus, do you want to tell us what wine you got for us this week?
Sure. So this wine here is a 2020 Viognier Marsanne blend. I believe it's 75% Viognier, 25% Marsanne. And it's from the McLaren Vale in Australia, which is right down the road from the Barossa Valley, which is where our last wine was from. And although Viognier is not the most common grape that is found in Australia, it is a lot of these kind of French white varieties like Semillon and Marsanne are pretty widely grown. So I thought it was a pretty good example. And McLaren Vale is a very famous region from Australia. So I wanted to try one there, and that's really what made me choose this was I saw the McLaren Vale and was like, I've heard about that. I want to try something from there. So yeah. For all our podcast folks, the bottle has this white label with a single red stripe across it. And the title of the wine is The Hermit Crab. It's by Darenberg Wineries. And it's just a simple label. It's got a red top and a little description of the history of the winery on the back.
Looks very regal.
It looks regal. That red stripe is eye-catching. I wonder if that's like the flag of I don't know, South Australia or something. I don't know the Australian states well enough to know. But,
no idea.
All right. Well, with that, let's pour some glasses. Had a little bit of pressure in there.
That is a super clear white wine.
Yeah, and it's got a little bubbles. That's probably what that pressure was.
It is a little bubbly.
Little bubbles.
And these type of wines, I anticipate, are just bright and acidic.
Yep. I would expect some acidity here as well. Although it's from a warm climate, so maybe a little less acidic. We'll see. Let's smell it.
Okay.
There's some minerality, some floral notes, like white flowers, I guess.
It kind of smells like somebody ate a bunch of apples and then peed.
I don't
Or
get that at all.
stewed apples in pee. Okay, so white flowers.
Well, that's the cool thing. Everyone smells things differently, you know, and reacts to things differently. So I don't even get the fruit as much as you're getting it.
I'm getting a lot of fruit, and it smells super acidic. Like my mouth is watering.
I've liked Viogniers we've tried in the past, so I think this will be up my alley, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's go for it.
All right. I'm hoping for your sake that you don't think it tastes like it smells.
It doesn't. Don't worry. Yeah, super acidic.
But also sweet.
But balanced.
Yeah.
Yes. That sweetness does balance it out a bit, but my mouth is still watering quite a bit. You can just feel it on your tongue.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. And the bubbles there add a little kick, but they're super, super fine.
Very small, the smallest bubbles.
Yeah. It's definitely not a sparkling wine. It just has, it's been, kept under pressure. What about the sweetness? What does the sweetness remind you of?
Kind of like honeysuckle.
Sure.
You know, when you would just go to honeysuckle flowers and just take them and then suck on them?
I can't relate.
Honeysuckle.
No.
No. I think it's earthy. It's just giving me earthy sweetness.
Yeah, it's not as minerally like a nice Riesling might have a mineral quality. It's not minerally like that, but it has an earthy, which is interesting for a white, I think.
And it is sort of spritzy. But yeah, it's not my favorite, although it is pretty good. I would drink this at a picnic. I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah, this has also almost a rosé quality to it, right? Like you can imagine we would be saying this is strawberry tasting if it were pink. You know, I think that this kind of has that sweetness of a rosé. And as such, I kind of wish that it tasted like it smelled for me, because that would be more my kind of wine. This is a little sweet. It's a little fruity. And it's funny because I don't get the fruit on the smell, but on the tasting it is apple and pear. But it's not oaked or anything. So it's, more of a rosé. I could see this being a rosé.
Yeah, and I think that I just like more dry wines, and this just isn't dry.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just super acidic, which is fine. It's pleasant. Not my favorite.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're okay.
Yeah. I think I like the white from last episode better.
I agree. The Chardonnay,
That was really
watch
good.
it.
Alrighty, so one thing that I want to talk about that happened while we were out buying these wines was that we actually saw a couple bottles from Penfolds Winery, which is one of the most famous wineries in Australia. And those wines are typically quite expensive, $50 to $150 per bottle. But there were some in the store that were more reasonably priced, still above our price range, but in the $30, $40 range. And I looked online and saw that they even have bottles now that they're releasing that are, under $20. So one thing I want to tell our listeners is if you're looking in your store and you see Penfolds, it's a really famous brand and maybe worth trying out. It's got like red cursive lettering. It looks not that impressive, but like these are some of the most collectible wines from Australia. And I was really cool that our local shop had 2 bottles right there. Australian wine has kind of got this reputation, or had this reputation, of being a little too sweet back when, because Australia used to produce a lot of dessert wines. But recently there's, that kind of reputation has gone away, as Australia is now, I think, the 4th or 5th largest wine producer in the world. So they're just producing all sorts of wine, all types, all styles. And so you can probably find what you want from Australia.
They're really trying things out.
Yeah.
They have a ton.
Like you said, with the innovation.
Just so many different types of wines. I'm very surprised.
Yeah, it's really cool. We were looking at a map earlier of all the different types and all the different places. And even like even Tasmania has wines now. So that's very cool. Well, what do you think of Australian wines overall?
Reds are wonderful. Whites,
Every Australian white sucks.
No. Well, it has similar taste qualities, I think. I think they are going for that more bold, super acidic wines, and that's just not really my thing, which is okay. I think that's definitely somebody else's thing.
Sure.
But the reds are just wonderful. You know, I love those bold reds. It doesn't give me the huge meatiness that I always desire, but it's meaty enough and there's some sweetness. So it's definitely a fun surprise.
Yeah, I think the wines that we tried this week for Australia haven't been my favorite examples of Australian wine, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've tried Australian wines quite a bit.
Oh, and we've loved them. Yeah.
Yes.
I think we just didn't get the good ones today. And part of that is, we didn't do our research like we usually do before going into the store and picking them out. So I didn't, maybe you did, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I just picked one that looked good. And sometimes that you get got with that. So,
I mean, everybody loves a Shiraz.
Yes, that's true. Again, both of these I would totally drink. They just weren't something that I would have chosen again, I think.
Wasn't the most incredible, although you did like the red better than last week's.
Yes, so. But, it's a red. All right. Well, Brittany, I'm looking forward to drinking some more wine with you.
And I with you, Cyrus.
All right, everybody. Until next week, goodbye.